and they're like, what is
Never heard of
this?
sugar in
Yoga.
your soil.
Okay, so most of the time, the people
Control
that
your
they're
emotions,
that
not
they've
break
been
under pressure.
painted
All this
is
stuff is
We are one of the very few
meditating with
businesses, organizations
you know.
where you
So
can shop
Really great
online
tips already off the bat, and we're just
by
starting.
going to Top Box.
Hello and welcome to Healthier Habits, a podcast that discusses challenges and solutions when it comes to health and wellness, as well as connecting you to some local resources in Chicago. My name is Cassandra Zumba.
And I am Yakwache and will be your host. We are the Policy, System, and Environmental Coordinators here at the Chicago Partnership for Health Promotion, a program from the Office of Community Engagement and Neighborhood Health Partnerships at UIC.
In today's episode, we will be talking about active breaks, and we will chat about the recommendations, our routines, at work recommendation, just to get in those extra steps.
Today, we have with us Traci Williams, a certified 200-hour yoga instructor with studies from India. Traci understands the connection of the body through active breaks through movement and stillness.
And she also happens to be part of the CPHP organization on the food system intervention team. Hi, Traci. How are you doing?
Hi, hey y'all. How y'all doing?
Welcome. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
How was your drive here?
The drive there was a lot of traffic. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. So wasn't expecting that traffic along the curve. I thought I would beat it because of the time, but
Yes. No, it's okay. I was in an hour traffic from 8 to 9 this morning.
mhm.
Makes sense. So rumor on the street is you are big with traveling. So traveling versus vacation, what's your preference?
Mm. Mm. I would have to say vacation because on a vacation you can kind of experience both,
Okay.
like you can put your travel hat on and then you can put your vacation hat on as well, because you have that leisure. So yeah, I would say vacation, but as far as traveling, I just like to learn different cultures and learn different things.
Yeah, that's good to hear because it really depends on the partner who you go with to either vacation or travel. Because I learned that the hard way. I took my friend to a vacation. She could not sit still.
Mhm.
Like, your vacation is relaxing. No, she wanted to keep doing activities. I'm like, we have those times as well, but today we're sitting in the hotel
Yeah.
and going to the pool. But no, it was a hard one just to sit still. So traveling sometimes is a preference for me at least.
Mm.
I have my friends up at 9 a.m. to do activities, so I am that person. I haven't had like a chill vacation yet, but I always want to do stuff at 9 and probably come back in like 3 a.m. or something and do it again at 9 a.m. You always live once.
You recently went to India, right?
Yeah.
How was it?
So it was amazing. I actually went out there to enhance my yoga skills, and that was amazing. I was there for 26 days.
Wow, then
Yeah.
wow.
So I got my training in, but then you can also say that it was a vacation for me as well because I was able to shop. I was able to just go to different towns and just sightsee. I didn't get to go to Delhi to go see the Taj Mahal, but
Yeah.
yeah, everything else I was able to visit. I was able to visit different temples, anything that had something to do with yoga. I was there.
Yeah, that's a good chunk amount of time for you to be able to immerse yourself more into the culture.
Oh yeah,
That's great.
yeah.
What's one takeaway you took from India? Like one thing you would tell people, like people listening, to be expect when they go to India?
To just be open and to learn to ask to understand. If you have questions, and don't get offended so quickly, because it's different there, much different. There's no like respect for personal space, really. So
We know.
you got to be,
Yeah.
patient.
Well, you did mention that you went over there to reinforce your yoga, right? So let's get into this topic a little bit. What's your background on the yoga certification? What was your motivation to start in that field?
So my motivation was anxiety.
Mm.
Oh.
Yeah, big anxiety. I'm a young mother. Well, you was a young mother.
Young, you're still young.
Yeah, exactly. But I needed an outlet, and she was in her teenage years, and we were bumping heads a lot, and it was me making a decision and standing on it versus going against how I feel as just a person and not as her quote unquote mother. Right. So it was a lot of confliction going on within myself, and then also trying not to go against what I was raised with, those type of that mentality. So it was a lot going on, and I just needed peace. I just needed a silent space in my mind. And for me, it took me back to a place where when I was younger, I used to do ballet and I used to stretch, but stretching was like my favorite part. I would just sit there and my teacher would be like, "Come on, Tracy, let's," and it was like that was my space. I was just free. It was nothing mattered. So even at home, I was stretched. So once I got into so when I was living in Indiana, I ended up deciding to take a yoga class. And after that yoga class, I just felt so free and relieved. I was just my body felt still. My mind felt still. So my body just felt just free.
Yeah.
Like that's how I felt. And after that, I was like, yeah, let me get a little bit more into this.
Yeah.
So I just started practicing more and more. And then I went on YouTube and started with Yoga with Adrienne. And I started looking at her classes, well, her videos. And then from there, I just started practicing on my own, putting my own, style to it. And then the pandemic happened. And so I ended up taking an online
Okay.
yoga training and class.
Mhm.
And so during that time, I wasn't working, and I was taking time just getting to know myself a little bit more. So I ended up going to Arizona for a month and then just like throwing myself into like the yoga studies. And then when I came back, I just started practicing with my friends but it was the motivation was just for me to just have a sound mind to be able to handle my daughter. And on top of that, it taught me so many different disciplines, you know, to be able to just handle conflict or any type of um, um, chaotic situation that may come my way, with ease.
Right. Yeah. As soon as you mentioned, yeah, anxiety was your motivation, totally relate. All of us have different ways of like calming that or finding an outlet. But yeah, yoga is usually the number one top recommended thing just because everything's still, everything's blank, everything's out of your mind, trying to focus on yourself at that moment, right? It's really much like self reflection.
Being active definitely has its benefits right now, like reducing the risk of diseases, like you said, increasing your energy, improving sleep and mood. For someone that might suffer from anxiety, how do you recognize? You speak about tension. How does one recognize that tension in their body when it comes to whether there's anxiety or not being able to fully talk about their emotions?
Good question. How do you identify anxiety? Your mood changes, the way that you breathe around a certain environment. Okay. You may become quiet, very reserved, you may become tucked away. Um, you might start to make excuses for why you don't want to be
Yeah.
in a certain space
Yeah.
or around certain people. Those are the things that I picked up on where I would start to identify, oh, okay, this is anxiety. Um, for me, it was just a different feel in my body. Um, I just didn't feel like I fit. So I felt out of place. And that's when I knew, okay, something else is going on. And then I would analyze, okay, it's anxiety. What are you having anxiety about? What's going on? Okay, how can we help you in this moment? Okay, get up, walk away, go to the bathroom, breathe. All right, you okay? Talk to yourself, come back, have a seat. Um, when I'm dealing with anxiety in a public setting, I know that sometimes that may be because I have a closed heart,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
Because I'm protecting myself from
Right.
something,
Yeah.
I don't want you to get too close. So I kind of like move the upper body around, kind of open the heart up so that I can be more understanding to what's going on around me than more so judgmental to what's going on. And that's another thing that yoga has helped me with.
So, if you were working with an organization and helping their employees recognize these signs that you're talking about, how does that exercise look like?
And recognizing.
Yeah, or if an employee or employer wants to support their employees in recognizing, their like their movement, or like, you spent 8 hours at the office if you're working in the office.
Mhm.
How can an employer, help their employees get to moving?
Oh, that's a good thing. Well, like I said, making sure that you play music, okay? Because music it can change your mood from good to
Mhm.
bad within seconds. It's just all about the vibration. So if you want to get people moving, play some music and then just use it as a break. But people need to see that it's accepted. People need to see that
Yes.
it's okay that you're doing it, because even though we're talking about it and we're like, oh yeah, this is something we need. Like my neighbor could be sitting next to me like, yeah, I need it. But as soon as we actually provide it for you or offer it to you, you're not doing it. It's like,
Yeah, the culture needs to be there already established and known to people that this is something common or something regular, right? Instead of trying to implement something and tell somebody else to do it without doing it yourself, you know? So, I mean, it's good to have some kind of policy in place or some kind of idea or routine that everyone can do within either the company, organization, even just your team.
hmm
I mean, we all been sitting through and long meetings, right? And sometimes it goes on forever. Sometimes you just need that mental break just to restart, to
yes.
refresh.
Yes, and another good thing is to keep it going, or to like keep your employees engaged, is to give testimonies,
Mhm.
of the people that are actually engaged,
Yeah.
you know. That encourage people like, oh, yeah, maybe I do need to start doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and I think you've been great at giving us your testimony, especially in some of our like conferences and meetings as well, because we've been able to see you lead some of our mental breaks or our physical breaks as well that benefited those long days that we have
Yeah.
to be a part of.
and I'm so appreciative of it.
Well, it's great to have an internal instructor here in the office. So when we need expert advice,
Yeah.
you're the go-to person.
And who would have ever known that I would actually be doing yoga at work?
Yeah.
I'm doing what I love to do at work.
Yeah, helping us implement mental breaks, physical breaks, as well as you going out into the community and sharing that with them as well.
Yes, yes.
And we've had the pleasure of seeing you like demonstrate your skills as well with us, right?
Yes. I think I love that you mentioned you loved stretching, because I feel like when I first came to the company, that was the divisionals that you led the active breaks with your stretches and stuff. So I guess how have you been using your skills in this organization in terms of stretching or being a yoga instructor?
Mm, good question. So, as me being a nutrition educator here with CPHP, when I go out into the community, when we do physical activity demonstrations, I would show them different yoga moves that would help them and kind of combat against like chronic diseases that we may be dealing with. And we may just need relief from it, at that moment or at that time. So, you might be dealing with the back issue, right? Or, say, for instance, anxiety, depression. So I would just basically give them pointers and show them different moves to help them, to stay calm and just be present in the moment. So yeah.
Do you have a different approach when you are demonstrating or teaching with like the students or the participants we have, and when you do it with us in like in the corporate setting, like the divisional or the INEP that you also had your little um own space to do that for the people there? Do you approach that differently?
Yes, absolutely. With the children, you got to make it fun, you know. So when you come in and you're just sitting and they're like, what is this? Yoga. Okay, so most of the time, the picture that they've been painted is someone sitting meditating,
Yes.
you know.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, this is boring. We don't want to do that, you know. So I kind of start off with poses and play a little game with them and get them all engaged, and then we kind of like go into why we should be practicing this, you know. But the basics, you know, keep it short, sick, sweet for them, and they, believe it or not, the kids are actually more receptive than the adults. And the reason that I say that is because I think as adults, we have so much going on in our minds that it's hard for us to silence our minds. And for kids, they don't really have too much. It's like it's not a there it's no demand
Yeah.
on that thought. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, whatever. You want to be quiet? Let's quiet time. You know what I mean? Like that's what they think it is, you know?
Yeah.
And then with adults in the yoga class, you know, they're talking through it and it's more so of an internal, you know, adventure or journey when you're on that mat, you know? So, and it's more disruptions because you'll see someone else talking to somebody else. And yeah,
In terms of yoga here in America, like you did mention that it was commercialized as well, and then versus the yoga in India, is there a difference or with the discipline that you have studied?
absolutely. Big difference. So the yoga here, it's more of an exercise class if you go into the yoga, you know. So some teacher they may say, come on, lift that leg up, you know, versus if I was in India, you know, they may say lift the leg, but if they notice that you're only able to slightly lift it off the ground, then that still is accounted for the effort that you put in for the day. It's like I'm not going to extend you past that. It's in India, when it comes to yoga, they meet you where you are,
Yes.
you know, and then you also challenge yourself to get to where you see yourself, you know, and not just where you are. But it gives you, in India, it gives you that sense of being comfortable and patient and understanding and graceful to that space and where you are. So,
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, mindfulness and being intentional. I think that's very important because, like I said, here it's more of like an exercise class, get in, get out, push yourself, but it's more of just being in the moment, right? It's more about just reflecting on where you're starting and where you're going to end up, and then the progress in between.
yes, yes. And that's so important.
How do you find your own space during your own workday? Because, all of us spend most of our time at our workplace or spending our mental capacity in our jobs.
Mhm.
How do you take time out to just, find some kind of active break or mental space for yourself?
Mm, simple. Just be intentional. So,
Mhm.
yeah, I think you just got to be intentional. So, if you feel you have to be in tune and aware of your body as well. That's why physical activity is very important so that you'll be able to gauge when it's on balance and when it's off balance, you know. Um, but just going into it knowing that, you know, this is something that's going to help me get this job done,
Yes.
get more energy, you know, feel better about the job, you know. So that's for me, that's just the thought process that I have. So if I feel like I'm becoming overwhelmed by a lot of activity, I may step aside and take a deep breath. You know, sitting in my chair, I may lean forward, kind of stretch my back out and stretch out my legs. You know, those types of things help me to just take a moment, take a break.
I'm glad you touched on the importance of physical activity. What kind of challenges have you faced or you've heard people face when it comes to physical activity, whether remotely or in the office?
The biggest challenge that I face and that I've seen most people face is the environment or the people that are around them that are not used to active breaks. So, say for instance, right, you made a decision that you were going to take active breaks today, right? And I'm going to go for a walk, right? And instead of you encouraging me is like, girl, why you going for a walk? We could just sit right here and relax, and not intentionally.
Mhm.
It's not an intentional thing,
Yeah,
right?
or those just offhanded comments. Oh, look at you being healthy today. You're
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and those small comments can be discouraging, you know? So,
So, how can employers or different organizations support physical activity in the workplace for those that are remote or for those that are in the office as well too?
encourage, join. We could create active breaks where we make play music as a reminder, give you something to move, and then everybody just create and put in ideas of what would make them feel better if they were to do some type of movement throughout the day. You
Yeah,
know?
I think it's important to create that culture of like supportiveness and stuff like that. And so instead of getting the comments of like, "Oh, where are you going?" It's more, "Can I join you?"
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Just having the community just within your job to go around and do something a little more active.
absolutely.
So, here at CPHP, we do have PSC strategies called the meeting breaks. So, we know that getting physically active in one's daily routine can be a challenge. It can be due to lack of self confidence, time constraints, skill, or fear of injury, like you said. So, this is where us PSC coordinators come in. Our strategy aims to remove these barriers and keep people moving. Our team can help your site or organization write a policy to implement physical activity breaks during meetings, or we can help train your site coordinators to lead simple and time efficient exercises as well. So, I guess now we're ready to see what kind of moves you would recommend for us to do when we're feeling a little tired or we just need a little break.
Okay, nice. So I can demonstrate for you really quick, and then I can also talk you through it if you like.
Yeah, you can talk us through it.
So most of the time when I'm sitting still, I kind of like shrug my shoulders. Yep. But I inhale on each move so I can incorporate my breath with the move. And as I do that, it kind of releases the tension in the muscle. So if I'm lifting, my first move would always be an inhale and then exhale. So it'll be lifting and then dropping the shoulders, right? And then the next would be probably lifting the arms above the head, interlocking the fingers, pressing towards the sky, and then dropping the hands down to the side. The next move would be falling forward, just
Okay.
throwing the body forward,
Dropping it.
Yep. And then kind of like bouncing the hands from front to back. And then that helps with like the back as well as the hamstrings, and then coming up nice and slow, right? So that I won't get dizzy. And then making sure that I breathe with that as well. And then after that, I kind of would probably do a side twist of the body, you know, um, supporting my back with my arms and things like that. So those are the moves, the go-to moves that I do if I'm sitting still or if I'm in a small space, right? Not too much movement.
Yeah, especially because if you're in an office all day, like you're pretty much stuck to your desk.
Yeah,
Well, those are great moves to do. Just throw in there once in a while when you haven't had that physical movement all day, just to refresh your mind, maybe stretch out your physical pain. Help you hit those physical goals you have as well.
yeah,
Just getting those, even just marching in place, getting those steps in for a little bit. Just
yep,
hitting the refresh button for those mid-afternoon, slumps that you get sometimes.
right. Because it helps with that blood circulation.
Yes.
You want to keep that flowing.
Right, right.
You know,
Yeah, and we also want to remind people to make sure they listen to their own body. Everyone has different physical constraints. So if you know you can't do a movement, please listen to your body, talk to your doctor, see whatever you actually can do, and modify, right? Because what works for you may not work for another person. So we want to make sure that we're keeping everyone safe as well.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Done. And also, like in terms of exercises, it doesn't always have to be yoga. You can, like you've been talking, you could take a walk, or I don't know. Did say you did like some dance classes.
Yep.
So that could be, an option. So definitely listen to your body, and physical activity does not look the same one way for each person. It differs depending on the person as well.
Absolutely. Because I go skating.
See, that's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we want to remember we're trying to hit at least a half an hour of some kind of activity per day just to be at a great base, you know? We're not talking about being super fit. We just want to be healthy. So as long as we're trying to hit those 30 minutes a day, we're in a good check. And again, putting that back to our title, we're trying to just create healthier habits, right?
Yes.
We're not here to throw in like solutions for everything, but if we put a little bit of our part with different advice, different resources we have, we can create just a healthier lifestyle out there.
Yes, absolutely.
Awesome. So where can they reach you? Um, your website, social media pages, anything you like to promote, any events you got going on, any class you have coming up?
So yes, I am actually in the process of uploading my yoga videos to my YouTube channel.
Oh,
So yes, I've been editing, and I want to just be able to just go in back to back to back. So I'm putting everything together. So I want to give my YouTube channel if that's possible, and then my Instagram, which kind of is like my business page where I teach and promote yoga in the community.
that's great. You're going to be the resource you looked for in YouTube.
Yeah.
Hopefully inspire more people to
Yeah.
follow your footsteps.
Yeah, that's what I want.
So yeah, if you want to shop those out now, we're also going to put it in the description as well so people can just, click in.
So my YouTube page is Nova Nice.
For night.
Yes. So at Nova Nice 2791. And then my Instagram is Nova_perception 2021. I also have a website.
Say that too.
So my website is novaperception.org.
Yogaforhealth.org.
Yeah. So that's where you can reach me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you. And I just loved everything that you did talk about with the stretches, your time in India. And I also do suffer from anxiety too. So I'm going to take all the tips you have talked about and apply it and see where I need improvement. Maybe I might hit you up too as well. Watch the YouTube video or your channel as well too.
Yes.
That could be part of our routine now.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure.
It was a pleasure as well.
Thanks for listening to Healthier Habits with your host, Kasanda Sumba.
And Diakwachi.
We hope you enjoyed this conversation. Keep an eye out for more episodes and make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell.
Here at CPHP, we have the EATMOVESAVE Meal Kit. This is an e-commerce project dedicated to improving and resolving access to healthy and affordable foods through a meal kit, which is packaged and delivered directly to a family's home throughout Chicago through Typebox. Visit our EATMOVESAVE website for more information on meal kit ordering and delivery.
You can help support the podcast by liking, sharing, and subscribing, following us on our social media accounts on Instagram as EATMOVESAVE Chicago, Facebook EATMOVESAVE Chicago, and YouTube as UIC OCEAN-HP. Look for the podcast tab for more episodes.
If you'd like more information on partnering with our organization, head over to our website, cphp.uic.edu, and send us a message.
Thank you for joining this chat. Check out our links and resources in the description. See you next time.
Bye.
This institution is an equal opportunity provider. This material is funded by the USDA Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, SNAP. Chicago Partnership for Health Promotion is a unit of the Office of Community Engagement and Neighborhood Health Partnerships, representing a network of community-based interventions designed to improve nutrition and reduce disparities in outcomes associated with nutritional diseases, including obesity. CPHP provides high-quality, age, gender, and culturally tailored nutrition education in various venues across the city.
Eat, Move, Save.